Hey guys, Majin Obama here, and I want to share with you guys some of the footage that I got from my playtime at Riot HQ on the game, the project formerly known as L, the 2XKO playtest that I got to do. And most of my playtime was focused on Illaoi, so I wanted to be able to share kind of my thoughts about her and what I thought about after playing her for a few days there. You know, here's the thing. When you play a game that's early, you know, in builds like this, a lot of stuff is subject to change. So what I want to focus on is kind of just the idea and the feeling of playing her and maybe certain aspects of her gameplay that stood out to me. With that said, let's start taking a look at her normals, right? Her stand A, her stand B, and her stand C. Some of these hit from pretty far away, you know, like maybe half screen for the most part. Also note she has a chargeable 6C. If you hold forward and hit the C button, it's chargeable and it's dash cancelable as well. You can actually link stand B afterwards like that on hit in a lot of cases. And then her 3C, her down forward C, is also chargeable as well. And so these are going to give wall bounce properties and launch properties depending on how they hit. We'll come back to this later, but what I'm thinking is something I was working towards when I was playing her is like, what is the biggest return B&B you can get with her? Because she has some kind of unique mechanics that kind of scratched a particular itch and made her really interesting for me, to be honest with you. But anyway, you can see a lot of her normals here, and then her jump normals. Her jump C is a pretty broad attack. You'll see in a lot of the gameplay footage. It hits from far away. The problem is it's a little bit slow. I was getting intercepted a lot by like Yasuo players who were just doing jump lights or jump Bs. Her specials. The big thing with the special buttons for her is she has the unique tentacle mechanic, right? And so what you'll notice is one of your special buttons is basically made to set a tentacle. So if you attack with it in the middle of a combo, she'll drop a tentacle there. The other special button uses the tentacle and activates it. So you use them both in conjunction with each other to be able to create pressure strings and just different kinds of scenarios. We'll get into, you know, what the tentacles can do, what you can do with them. But of note, special button number 1, the one you're going to use the most is her Rekka series, right? So you have A, B, C, and then you can do Rekka, 1, 2, 3. And so I was trying to create pressure strings or long strings that kind of just relied on that sequence like that, be able to try to extend pressure. She has options with the tentacles. Once one is set, for example, you can play with your opponent by, first of all, just striking them with the tentacle, right? And then you can also do a tentacle grab. You can actually just, if they're standing there, if you train them to sit, you can actually just grab them and you get a pickup off of that. You can also kind of use the tentacle to pull them. So I'm thinking maybe there's some situations where it might make sense to where your opponent is sitting in the corner and maybe you could try to pull them out, and using another assist, you might be able to go for set up a cross up or something, you know, left, right, or something like that. You can kind of manipulate where they're standing and where they're guarding. The real interesting thing and the real kind of bug here, and you see some of the crouching normals there as well, or crouch A or crouch B or crouch C. Jab is kind of a stout range, but for the special buttons, right, there is not just special 1, but there's forward special, there's crouching special, there's special 2, and then there's forward special 2. There's crouching special 2. And so you see here some of the ways you can kind of use the tentacle to mess with your opponent on in pressure and on defense, right? So if they're in the sphere of influence, you know, that range of the tentacle, you can kind of pull them out, manipulate them where they're standing a little bit. If they're going to freeze and commit to guarding, you can try to grab them with it. And I think using this in conjunction with some of the assists that you have, and I'm curious to see what kind of ideas you guys come up with too. But like I said, I think the goal in terms of early strategy for her is maybe finding a B&B where you can use not only a wall bounce, but also a tentacle set, using the tentacle, and then ending the combo with a tentacle set. So you have your Oki pressure, you're up close on them with a tentacle active. But the interesting thing with her, and the thing that was really kind of had me spending a lot of time in training mode during my time playing with her, is this just frame mechanic that she has with a special attack in conjunction with the tentacles. And that's something that kind of fueled a lot of the like B&B searching that I was doing. Basically, the way this works is, and you'll see I'm able to hit it pretty consistently by the end of my time there. I can't really explain it to you. It's kind of difficult to describe, but basically, that special 1 button where she uses it's her Rekka series, if you're able to hit with that on some kind of timing at the same time that a tentacle strikes the opponent, Illaoi will flash blue, and what happens is you'll get additional hit stun to be able to continue a combo that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to do. So given that, my idea, and I think all you combo smiths, this is again a challenge to you guys. I was trying to find the fattest sequence I could where it would be sequence, set a tentacle, and then Rekka, just frame Rekka, launch, air combo into a Rekka set into a super. So that way, they're getting up from a super. They just take 50% to 60% damage, and they have a tentacle on top of them. And depending on your fuse set, you can tag out, DHC, do whatever. That was kind of the idea I was going for, but I'm curious to see what you guys can come up with when you guys have one-on-one time to mess around and play with the game and try her out yourself. But other than that, she was pretty fun to play. She's, this pretty aggressive brawler style. She's really good damage, and if you're able to use your assists really well, she can create some pretty lengthy pressure sequences and kind of smother you, especially if she's able to get you to the corner. Again, with using tentacle attacks is very easy to kind of keep you off balance like that, right? Her second super 2, which does the multiple tentacles like that, I think kind of visually, if you notice, the tentacles, when she sets them on normally in front of their character, the tentacle stands in the foreground of the opponent's blocking character a lot of times. So when the tentacle super comes out and the big ones come up out the ground like that, that can also make it visually a little bit tricky, right? So if you want to pair her with another character, I was using her with Ahri for the most part. So Ahri's back assist is kind of like that Vegeta Ki Blast looking assist. That worked pretty well in case opponents wanted to try to jump out of the Rekka series or something like that. It would kind of lock them down. But I'm also thinking, depending on your fuse set, being able to DHC into Ahri with all those tentacles out and stuff like that, I think something like that could be cheap, just kind of some ideas. But anyway, overall, the character, she's pretty fun. She's pretty easy to pick up and play, even compared to most of this cast. I did feel like, to be honest with you, I don't think she's the kind of character I would play long-term, but I enjoyed messing around with her. Although I did feel like something was missing. I'm not going to say she needs a command grab or anything like that. Obviously, I don't know the game well enough to say that. But it felt like maybe she should have had, maybe some armor frames on something or something like that. Felt like against the quicker characters, she would just get cut up if it was one-on-one. But, it's still early. I can't really, say that in full confidence. But that said, messing around with her in training mode was really fun. You could spend a lot of time, again, just because of the presence of, the just frame mechanic like that. And it's not, I don't want to say it's super hard, but it's definitely going to take you a second to kind of find that timing. You'll see, when you hit that blue flash like that, it's one of those things where it's the first couple times you get it on accident, you'll be like, oh, I think I kind of get it, and then it'll become easier for you gradually. By the end of the first day, I was able to get it a couple times, but by the end of the second day, I was getting it in matches, actually. I was doing it pretty semi-regularly in matches. And yeah, it was pretty fun to figure out and mess around with. I think if every character that they put in this game has some kind of mechanic or something like that to dig into, I think it's going to do a lot for really kind of making the cast feel diverse, but also like they do have some kind of depth, Obviously, with a game like this where it sacrifices motion inputs, it's important that characters still feel unique and that they still have really kind of something that you can really dig into with them when training mode to keep things feeling fresh, right? And this was the first time where I was I'm messing around with it. I was like, oh, this is, definitely some, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it. This game is definitely a product of the people that make it. If you know the kinds of games that those guys play. And it definitely shines with a character like Illaoi with in terms of the presence of something, just a mechanic even like that, Anyway, I had a lot of fun playing with her. I'm curious to see, again, combo challenge. I want to see what you guys can come up with. I'll show you some of the sequences I was doing, but I want to see if you guys show me the fattest combo into a just frame, into a launch, into a tentacle set, into a super, and show me the Oki after. You guys get your turn. Go ahead and go out to Evo Japan. Go out to Evo. Any opportunities you guys get to go out and play her, give her a try and let me know how it goes for you guys. I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one, everybody.